This video was brought to you by the ILC. Hi there, welcome to episode 6, Factoring by Grouping. In this episode, we'll learn how to factor expressions that look a little bit scary and can't usually be factored by normal means. Let's dive right in. Today, the problem we're going to factor is 3x squared plus 5x minus 12. In order to factor this, we are going to need to rewrite it in a way that's a little bit easier to factor. But before we do that, let's label the numbers we're going to be using. The number in front of x squared we'll label as a. The number in front of x we'll label as b. And the number that does not have any x we'll label as c. So a is 3, b is positive 5, c is negative 12. For our first step, we'll multiply a times c. Now, a is 3, and c is negative 12. Make sure you include the sign. That's very important. 3 times negative 12 makes negative 36. Now, here's what we're going to do with that negative 36. We're going to bring it down and try to find two factors of negative 36 that add to positive 5. That's b. Now, if you're pretty experienced with division, this may not be a problem for you. But for those who don't do a lot of mental math, here's a method that'll help you pick out those two factors. The process will get a little involved, but with a little practice, you'll get the hang of it. We're going to start by dividing our number, negative 36, by some other number. And if you're not sure what number to try, just start with 1. I'll write it in red. Well, negative 36 divided by 1 gives us, of course, negative 36. I'll write that in blue. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add the blue number, negative 36, to the number that we divided by. That's the number in red, the 1. Now, negative 36 plus 1 gives us negative 35. And you can see that's not equal to b. That's not positive 5, so what that tells us is negative 36 and 1 are not the two numbers we're looking for. But that's okay. We can just try a different number. Let's restart with negative 36. And this time let's divide by a different number, 2. Well, negative 36 divided by 2 gives us negative 18. And so now we'll say negative 18, the blue number, plus 2, that's the red number. And now negative 18 plus 2 gives us negative 16. Again, this isn't the right number. We're going for positive 5. So we're going to have to try another number. Sometimes this can take a couple of tries to get the right number. This time let's try dividing by 4 instead. Well, negative 36 divided by 4 gives us negative 9. And so we're going to say negative 9, the blue number, plus 4, the red number. Well, negative 9 plus 4 gives us negative 5, which I'm going to write in black. Well, that's pretty close to the right number. We have negative 5, but we want positive 5. So we just have the wrong sign. If you do get the wrong sign, all you have to do is change the signs of the red and the blue numbers. So rather than negative 9 and positive 4, we will have positive 9 and negative 4. Well, positive 9 minus 4 gives us positive 5. And that is the right number. That matches b. So we're almost finished with this part. What we want to do now is rewrite the original expression, but we are not going to say positive 5. Now we're going to say positive 9 and minus 4. So our expression becomes 3x squared plus 9x minus 4x minus 12. Now you may be tempted to look at that and say, well, that looks even worse. How are we going to factor it now? We'll show you how to factor it. The trick to this is that we do not try to factor the whole thing at once, because factoring all 4 terms at once would be pretty tricky. What we want to do is factor the terms only 2 at a time. What we're going to do is group the first term and the second term together, and then ask ourselves, what is the common factor? What term could divide both the first and second term evenly? So let's look at what they have in common. Well, they both have x, so whatever our common factor is, it should probably include x. And we may also notice we have a 3 and a 9, and both of those numbers are divisible by 3. So let's use 3x as our common factor. Here's what we're going to do with that common factor. We're going to divide the first term, 3x squared, and the second term, 9x, by the 3x we just found. Like this. I'm going to write it in red. Well, 3x squared divided by 3x. The 3's will cancel out, and x squared divided by x is just x. Now for the second term, 9x over 3x. The x's cancel out, and 9 divided by 3 is positive 3. Once again, be sure to include the sign. It's very important. Now we're going to put the numbers we just found in parentheses. One more thing, on the outside of the parentheses, again I will write this in red, we're going to put the common factor that we divided by, 3x. And now we're halfway there. Well, let's go ahead and figure out what our common factor for the other 2 terms might be. What should we use that could divide both of those terms? Well, you may notice that both of them are negative. So our common factor should probably include a negative. We also notice that one of them has x and the other doesn't. So whatever our common factor is, it probably should not include x. We also notice we have a 4 and a 12. Both of those numbers are divisible by 4. So negative 4 will be our common factor for this part. So we're going to take the third term, negative 4x, and the fourth term, negative 12, and we will divide both of them by negative 4. So negative 4x divided by negative 4, negative 4 cancels out, and we will have just x left over. For the fourth term, negative 12 over negative 4 gives us a positive 3. Again, we place those terms in parentheses, and outside the parentheses, we write our common factor, minus 4. Well, we're almost there now. All we need to do now is to regroup the terms into only 2 parentheses. And here's how we do that. We bring the 3x on the outside and the negative 4 on the other outside and move them down into their own parentheses, giving us 3x minus 4. Our other term will be whatever is left over. That is, the x minus 3 that pops up here and here. So we are left with 3x minus 4 and x plus 3, and this is our final answer. Well, that was kind of an involved process, so let's recap that real quick. We started with 3x squared plus 5x minus 12, and that was going to be very difficult to factor on its own. So what we did is we split the 5x into 2 terms, and then that leaves us with 4 terms, but we do not factor all 4 terms at once. We factor the first 2 terms together, and factor the second 2 terms together, writing the common factor on the outside, and whatever's left in the parentheses. And then we just regrouped the outside terms into their own parentheses, and then write whatever's left over. I know this is sort of an involved process, but with a little practice, you'll start to gain something of an intuition for it, and it will be very useful to you going forward in this class. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next episode.